Mr. Speaker, when our people look to this Parliament, they do so with a hope and an expectation for clarity, for a lever with which to fathom the courage and a cause to summon their unity of purpose. The special Parliament session is therefore not just about plans on paper, but a defining moment to chart Botswana's future with conviction and vision. Mr. Speaker, I'm honored to present the proposed priorities for financial services sector under the 12th National Development Plan, together with its indicator framework for performance monitoring and evaluation. The Botswana Economic Transformation Program, BTEP, distills not only what we identify as our true north as a nation, but it proceeds to express, in equal measure, the nation's ventilation of what should become our nation's true north for the financial services sector, a fully integrated, inclusive, and secure financial and digital ecosystem that enables seamless transactions, universal access to public and private services, and boosts Botswana's competitiveness in the region. Mr. Speaker, Botswana's financial sector plays a pivotal role in mobilizing resources for government. It is also a sector that catalyzes private sector-inspired growth, a sector that advances innovation and digital transformation, a sector that oils the development of our human capital, and indeed a sector without which the idea of economic diversification is not possible. The Ministry of Finance formulates and coordinates the policy and legislative framework for the financial services sector, while the oversight role is shared among the Bank of Botswana and FIRA and the Financial Intelligence Agency, depending on the sector scope. The Financial Stability Council coordinates the finance sector to ensure alignment in legislation, regulation, policy making, and supervisory efforts across the entire financial sector. Mr. Speaker, the financial services sector's contribution to GDP increased from 4.7% in 2017 to 6.5% in 2024. This upward trend reflects an expanding role of financial intermediation and mobilization of long-term savings. Mr. Speaker, the size and composition of Botswana's financial system continues to evolve, with the non-bank financial institutions now account for a larger share of total financial assets than the banking sector. At the end of 2023, total assets held by MBFIs stood at 160 billion pula, surpassing the 133.6 billion quantum of the banking sector. Honorable Omlu. Digital financial services are also gaining momentum. In 2024, a total value of mobile and internet banking transaction reached 85.6 billion, reflecting growing consumer adoption of digital platforms. As of March 2025, the value of mobile money transactions alone reached 42.3 billion, underscoring the increasing role of mobile-based financial services in enhancing access and convenience. Mr. Speaker, several recent policy and legal reforms present a solid foundation for progress, including the reenactment of the Banking Act, which commenced in August 2025, the Medical Aid Bill 2025, and the Value Added Tax Bill 2025, which were passed during the July 2025 Parliament session. This marks key legislative milestones in the financial sector in the financial sector reform agenda. These milestones demonstrate our commitment to modernizing the sector, enhancing inclusivity, and embracing transformation. I move now, Mr. Speaker, to challenges experienced during the Transitional National Development Plan. Mr. Speaker, although the financial system remains safe, sound, and instrumental in supporting economic activity, the sector continues to face challenges. These challenges include, among others, the high cost of infrastructure deployment, which hampers the expansion of financial services, elevated transaction costs that undermine efforts to promote financial inclusion, lack of interoperability within the financial ecosystem. This limits the seamless flow of data and transactions across platforms and institutions. Mr. Speaker, weaknesses such as the underperformance of most of our state-owned enterprises, our governance gaps, and fiscal pressures have further constrained sectoral performance. Access to finance for MSMEs remains limited by informality, limited due to lack of collateral and cautious lending practices. The banking sector's reliance on short-term deposits from the non-banking financial institutions also presents liquidity risks, while global uncertainties and subdued capital markets have dampened investor confidence. We need to address these constraints if we are serious about building a more inclusive, innovative, and resilient financial system under NDP 12. And for certain, Mr. Speaker, we are serious. I now speak a little around strategies going into the National Development Plan 12, diversification and economic resilience. Mr. Speaker, the Botswana Economic Transformation Program is a strategic anchor to the NDP 12. The program marks a decisive shift towards true economic diversification and embeds a long overdue culture of focused, accountable execution in our national development architecture. Mr. Speaker, the BETP presents a pipeline of transformative projects, delivery roadmaps, and an enabling policy and legislative reform. It serves as both a blueprint and a call to action, one that requires collective effort of government, the private sector, development partners, and citizens. Through its transformation laboratories, BETP identified 186 priority projects across 9 sectors. More details on the BETP will be presented during Parliament discussions of the program during the first half of November. Mr. Speaker, one of the focus areas of the financial services sector under the BETP is the development of a comprehensive reinsurance ecosystem. Africa's reinsurance market is valued at $5.6 billion US. Yet Botswana contributes only 1.5% of Africa's total reinsurance pool, leaving substantial room for growth. This presents us with an opportunity anchored by Botswana's investment-grade sovereign credit rating, sound legislation, and trusted governance. We will position our nation as Africa's most secure and competitive reinsurance hub, one that creates high-value jobs, one that attracts global investment, and one that provides greater protection for our people and our businesses. This will enable us, Mr. Speaker, to retain and reinvest billions Honorable Omlu, of pulas that currently flow offshore. This is a sure avenue to boost our prospects for building a domestic capital pool to strengthen our fiscal stability and deepen our financial markets. We will also position the country as a regional financial hub that attracts foreign direct investment, that stimulates economic activity and creates jobs. We intend to strengthen our capital markets and promote green finance and environmental, social, and governance principles. We intend to introduce green bonds and adopt blended finance models. In fact, we have already taken concrete steps towards these aspirations. I wish to say a little bit, Mr. Speaker, about the digitization of financial services. Mr. Speaker, for the digitization of financial services, the strategy entails delivering a secure, interoperable national ID linked directly to our modernized payments infrastructure. This unified platform will allow citizens to prove their identity once, only once. The envisaged outcome, as in the near months, include the easing of processes to open bank accounts, obtain SIM cards, access social benefits, and transact across providers without repeating paperwork or paying multiple fees. By 2026, Mr. Speaker, Botswana targets 90% digital ID enrollment, over 30 government services accessible online, and digital payments growing from the current 27% to 80% of all transactions, with lower transaction costs and real-time settlement. This is the beginning of an era for a seamless, low-cost payment ecosystem. Mr. Speaker, these initiatives should expand access to financial services, especially to underserved populations. We are determined to improve Botswana's World Bank Be Ready Public Services score from 49 to 80 and establish Botswana as a regional benchmark for inclusive, citizen-centric digital finance and service delivery. On financial inclusion, Mr. Speaker, during NDP 12, government plans to prioritize the implementation of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy and Roadmap, covering the period 2024 to 2030. We intend to establish a mobile interoperability gateway, MMIG, to enable a fast, inclusive, and interconnected payment system for citizens. Financial inclusion possesses the power to raise incomes, the power to raise the earning capacity of rural households and women-led businesses. We plan, Mr. Speaker, to digitalize social protection services. We are also working to cultivate a mechanism towards the provision of universal bank accounts for all citizens, Honorable Omlu. As part of broadening access to formal financial services and promoting full financial inclusion. This initiative aims to reach 100% inclusion by extending financial opportunities to underserved cohorts of our population. Full financial inclusion should also stimulate entrepreneurship and strengthen economic resilience, particularly among low-income and vulnerable groups. Mr. Speaker, I wish to say a little about the development of new funding mechanisms. Mr. Speaker, Botswana's fiscal policy is under considerable strain due to declining government revenues, due to persistently high public expenditure and widening fiscal deficits. This presents a macro-fiscal challenge as the country continues to require substantial investment towards key enabling sectors. Yet Botswana needs the investment to drive economic diversification and long-term growth, particularly in agricultural infrastructure, transport, energy, water, and digital infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, leveraging public-private partnerships promises to be an important part of mobilizing the resources needed to accelerate the government's transformation agenda and deliver projects effectively. Mr. Speaker, government is at an advanced stage of creating a legal framework for the better management of PPP projects. We are in the process of finalizing the draft bill on public-private partnership for consideration by this Parliament. This is an essential tool to foster a strong private sector partnership and to provide a platform for domestic and international consortia to optimize the full benefit of the PPP delivery model. This should reduce the fiscal strain on the government budget and improve our growth investment nexus. Mr. Speaker, we are also considering alternative and innovative financing solutions beyond the traditional private partnerships. These include asset recycling, blended finance, green bonds, and asset-backed securitization during NDP 12. Such approaches combine public and private capital to monetize existing assets and reinvest the proceeds into new projects, often leveraging private sector expertise and risk-sharing mechanisms. Mr. Speaker, we are determined to transition from a consumption mindset to a long-term wealth creation mindset. This means a more intentional way of saving some of our revenues, particularly mineral revenues, towards investment in sustainable domestic and foreign assets across various industries, transforming our resource wealth into financial wealth. We have started putting in place a sovereign wealth fund mechanism whose components should take shape towards this aspiration. This model should create long-term macroeconomic stability and foster intergenerational equity by preserving sufficient assets and wealth for future generations. Mr. Speaker, the traditional brick-and-mortar model with which government finances SME businesses in a one-size-fits-all form of a business loan has long passed its sell-by date. During NDP 12, we will explore the possibility of creating a national fund of funds mechanism. This mechanism enables the design of modernized and high-impact investment models to allocate resources strategically, targeting priority sectors in line with our national development objectives, and also allowing disruptors and innovators, including the creative industry, to access funding. This initiative, Mr. Speaker, will mark a significant shift in our approach to economic development, fostering an environment where entrepreneurship thrives and where our investments yield maximum returns in the form of jobs created, in the form of growth, and in the form of innovation. Mr. Speaker, This approach should also open pathways for non-traditional financial ecosystems, including community-based savings groups, Bomamitelo, and women in finance networks to participate in the financing of local enterprises. By mobilizing Bonebo Mamitelo and these community capital pools, we can extend financial inclusion beyond the reach of the conventional development finance institutions and ensure that capital circulates where it has the greatest local impact. In this way, Mr. Speaker, we hope to empower citizens, particularly women and the youth, to become active investors and owners in our growth story. It must be said again that this is a deliberate shift from a one-size-fits-all model to a multi-channel, inclusive investment architecture, one that rewards innovation, one that rewards and strengthens resilience, and one that unlocks Botswana's full entrepreneurial potential. Mr. Speaker, through this approach, we will create an environment where entrepreneurship thrives, where communities prosper, and our national investments deliver maximum returns. Growth, as I said, and innovation. Mr. Speaker, allow me to say a little bit about the strengthening of financial sector laws during NDP 12. Mr. Speaker, to create a supportive and modern financial environment, we intend to introduce during NDP 12 several key policy and legal reforms. This is all part of our plan to strengthen the financial sector, to promote innovation and enhance consumer protection, and of course, to align Botswana's financial systems with international best practices. Some of the key initiatives include Non-Bank Lenders Bill. This is intended to regulate micro-lenders and to safeguard vulnerable borrowers from predatory lending practices. The Public-Private Partnerships Bill. This is intended to promote private sector participation in infrastructure development and public service delivery. The Health Insurance Bill. This is intended to expand access to health coverage while ensuring robust consumer protection. Policyholder Protection Fund. This intended to provide financial protection for policyholders in cases where an insurer becomes insolvent. Mr. Speaker, in addition, several legislative and regulatory reviews are on the offing and near hatching. The first is the comprehensive review of our tax laws, which will give us what will come shortly, a Tax Administration Act, which simplifies, modernizes, and broadens our tax base. We will review the Insurance Industry Act of 2015. The intention is to strengthen regulatory oversight and consumer confidence in the insurance sector. Promulgation of the National Credit Act. This is intended to promote responsible lending and borrowing and protect consumers in the credit market. National Payments System Law. This is intended to replace the current National Clearance and Settlements Systems Act, NCSS, and introduce innovation facilitators, such as the Regulatory Sandbox. Regulatory Sandbox, Honorable Omlu, which I know you'd love. Enabling fintech, which will enable fintech firms to test new products under supervision while reducing barriers to market entry. Review of the excise duty regulations. This is intended to improve compliance and transparency through the introduction of a track and trace solution of accessible goods. The review and amendment of the public procurement law intended to improve compliance and reduce red tape and professionalize the sector, not only for government, but for the private sector. Mr. Speaker, furthermore, during the implementation of NDP 12, the government intends to prioritize the review and updating of the anti-money laundering, combating and financing of terrorism, and countering and financing of proliferation strategies to align with evolving global standards. We also plan to strengthen deposit insurance to enhance depositor protection and bolster confidence in the financial system. Mr. Speaker, we intend to implement assertively the financial sector development strategy as a means to promote a more inclusive, resilient, and stable financial ecosystem. We also intend to develop a National FinTech Strategy to guide the responsible growth and integration of financial technologies across the sector. These reforms collectively aim to modernize Botswana's financial sector, ensure greater inclusion and innovation, and maintain stability and competitiveness in line with global standards. I say a little bit, Mr. Speaker, about financial services sector indicator framework. Mr. Speaker, we plan to implement the financial sector programs with the aid of a robust results monitoring framework comprising of key performance indicators at the national level. This monitoring approach should ensure systematic and continuous tracking of progress over the plan period, allowing for timely performance assessments and evidence-based decision-making. We will keep a close eye on our fiscal balance as a percentage of GDP. In the area of fiscal performance, the Ministry aims to strengthen budget performance, budget discipline, and enhance fiscal sustainability. Consequently, we expect the fiscal deficit to narrow progressively over the plan period, reflecting ongoing efforts towards fiscal consolidation, improved revenue mobilization, and greater efficiency in public spending. We expect inflation to remain at the 3 to 6% throughout the NDP period. We expect to maintain allocation of our debt as a percentage of GDP divided equally between internal and external domestic debt markets. We will stimulate sector value-added growth. We will be stimulated by deepening the sector's contribution to the economy through digital transformation reforms. Mr. Speaker, NDP 12 and the BETP are a call to renewal, a call to lift our gaze beyond the present and see Botswana not as it is, but as it can become, a nation of fairness, foresight, and shared prosperity, the best managed country on the African continent, the paragon of fairness, of unity, and of inclusive prosperity. Mr. Speaker, we must lead with integrity, we must build with courage, and we must dream with confidence. Mr. Speaker, our nation is destined not merely to survive, but to shine. Mr. Speaker, behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth, shall it not? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. So says the Lord. I therefore move, Mr. Speaker, that the Financial Services Chapter be approved and be part of the National Development Plan 12. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.